Hi everyone. It's been quite an eventful few days, to say the least. My upstairs neighbors were still on their bullshit. But before I get into that, I just want to get into this real quick. Okay. Now, this doesn't seem like much. This seems like it might be a bite or something, or somewhere along those lines, right? But hear what? I was talking to a relative of mine last night, and they had a burn in exactly that same spot. So my thing is, or no, they had a boil in that same spot. So my thinking is that this right here is a directed energy weapon wound. And it would make sense because I've been feeling burning sensations along the top part of my gum line here. So this might be the entry point, because the thing is, all weapons have entry points, right? So it might be that there was an entry point for from the directed energy weapon to right here, and the exit, sorry, there was a fly, and the exit might be somewhere around here. So there's an entry point and an exit. Yeah. And that happens with all weaponry, like regardless of whether or not it's invisible, directed energy weapons, or whether you're dealing with actual artillery. There's almost always an entry wound and an exit wound. So the exit wound would be right about here somewhere, and the entry wound will be here. So that's what I think this is. I think this is an entry wound from the gang stalking, from the directed energy weapons. So there's that. Also, I've got to get into why I did this video today. So given that the little girl upstairs has basically been having a full-on mental breakdown over the fact that I haven't been responding in the way that she wants me to respond, and the adults of the family in general are whoring themselves out for the least bit of attention from me. So given everything that's happened, the letting agents came today and it was the both of them. So there's usually two letting agents that are in charge of representing the landlords. So the both of them came. Basically, more than one person is usually a shakedown. It's usually an attempt to intimidate. And they've asked me what they've been doing, and they're trying to cast doubt on it. They're trying to do the usual thing. Are you sure? How do you know? How do you know all this? And I'm like, all right, so we're doing this. So we're doing this. And they say, and they said, oh, but they're not doing anything illegal in listening to music. Yeah, but they are doing things that are illegal in harassing me. In fact, they have literally sung at me, they will run your life, but we will run your life. But okay. Fucking hell. So I said about 3.5 years of harassment, something has to give. So here, one of the letting agents now, here the senior one now. Maybe you should contact the council to find somewhere else to live. That was my precise reaction. My precise reaction was laughter, because I immediately knew then what was happening, right? Because this happened before. I'm in a situation where I'm being gang stalked. The gang stalkers don't have control over the situation. So they figured the best thing to do is to move me somewhere else, where hopefully the next gang stalking idiot can be a bit more successful than the last one. So even if the letting agent meant what she said, I'm laughing. I'm like, okay, I'm like, all right, cool. All right, cool. And then she said, what's so funny? What do you mean, what's so funny? What the fuck do you mean? What, how am I supposed to react? I'm supposed to be like, oh, please don't move me out. Please. Like, what the fuck do you want me to do? I'm single. I ain't got no kids. Which means, you know what that means? That means freedom. That's one of the reasons why white supremacy, which is what gang stalking hinges on, they don't like single women. I'm single. I can do that. When you're single, you ain't got no kids, no husband. They can't threaten you with anything. What can they possibly have to threaten me with? Sectioning? I mean, they saw what happened the last time I was sectioned. I ran that. I didn't run the place. That's a bit of an exaggeration. But I had no problem integrating myself when I was in the sectioned in the hospital. And it wasn't even the other patients that bothered me. And there were gang stalkers among the patients. It was the staff. The staff were out of fucking control, most of them. So what are you going to do, section me? I will have that staff under heavy manners in 5 minutes. What are they going to do, section me? What are they going to do, kick me out and put me somewhere else? They've diagnosed me as paranoid schizophrenic. They have to find me somewhere. They have to find me somewhere. And if they move me to another council or another town, like even just moving me back to London, like in another town in London, even if they were to move me back, because this is what they're trying to angle towards. They're trying to angle towards either moving me back with my family or putting the fear in me that they will move me back with my family. But even when they move me back with my family, you're talking God knows how many expenses and paperwork. Somebody always goes too far with the gang stalking, and it costs God knows of how many millions of taxpayers' pounds. That's why I was laughing. I'm like, you really, me knowing all that, me knowing that a gang stalking operation this big involving this many people, it costs millions of pounds to do. And the paperwork involved that not only involves moving me, but also alerting new gang stalkers as to my presence, giving them new instructions, giving them files, all of that costs money. It's all money. It's all money. And then on top of that, you're trying to say, oh, maybe we should move you. Maybe we should move you. Let me tell you something, right? You lose out on fucking tenancy money. So you've got about 2 months. If you're really serious, you've got about 2 months to get an eviction notice ready, right? Why do you think the landlords drag it out? They're not dragging it out for your benefit. There's a reason why they drag out your move. It's because they know they lose money. So you're ready to lose money just for you to come there and flex. Stupid. And what are you trying? And the thing is, because I know they're trying to set me up, what exactly are they trying to set me up with? When I came off the phone to the senior lettings agent who was on the way here, but this is before the meeting. When she was on the way here, she was talking about how I didn't seem worried. Is that the point? So you're wasting petrol money, wasting your own time to try to intimidate me into silence about this harassment, to try to intimidate me into not beating her ass. That's what you're doing. Ridiculous. And predictably, when the lettings agent was here, she said that the other neighbors haven't been complaining. Of course they haven't. Of course they haven't. Because if they report that they've been hearing stuff, then they're on my side. If they're on my side, then they have a target on their back. Because there are people among my neighbors that are gang stalkers. It's not just the people upstairs. So I said, I'm not surprised at that. And I told the truth. I said, this is bigger than my neighbor. This is bigger than her. This is a gang stalking operation. This is a community-wide operation. So it doesn't matter where I move to. It's going to be the same problem. It's going to be the same issue. But if you want to take it there, you want to take it there. There's nothing I can do. I'm just like a fucking tenant. There's nothing that I can really do. If they want to move me, they have to move me. So that's what the letting agent suggested. She suggested, oh, why don't you talk to them? Why don't you just move? I said, all right, bet. I wrote an email. I wrote an email. I said, all right, bet. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. I wrote to customer services in council housing. I don't know if these are the right people to contact, but that's where I went with this. I said, to whom it may concern. Oh, fuck's sake. I said, to whom it may concern, Upon the advice of the letting agent of my current property, I have reached out to seek alternative housing on the count of impending violence between myself and another neighbor. I've been diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. I have borderline personality disorder, and I've been racially harassed with additional fat phobia, xenophobia over my spiritual practices, which is true, and ableism, again true, repeatedly engaging in reactive abuse to have me sectioned. This is a time-sensitive issue, so I would like to know which band I am currently on and what housing solutions are available for me. As much as I enjoy living in Brighton, I understand that housing is difficult, so if I can no longer live here, I am happy to live in another place where intervention between me and possible harassment won't be necessary, because I'm going to be handling the fucking shit. No middlemen, I'm handling it. The next time somebody moves me, I'm handling the fucking shit. No cap. I'm handling it because nobody else knows what they're doing. So I said that I believe my letting agents will be in touch as well, because they said that during the meeting. They said, we'll talk to someone. We'll see if we can get you to move somewhere else. So they said that they would contact the housing council people, customer services people. So let's see what happens next. And this time, I'm not going to let my family talk me out of moving. Because even if they wanted to do something, what could they really do? This is exactly what I'm saying. You've got to use their strength against them. What the fuck are you doing as a letting agent trying to come over here and call my fucking bluff? You obviously don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know who the fuck you're dealing with. Like, a lot of these gangstalkers don't know who they're dealing with. I had to calm myself down because I was pissed off. Not at the fact that, I wasn't believed or anything like that. They knew I was telling the truth. They believed me. What pissed me off is that they thought they were smarter than me. They really came over here trying to like work my fucking nerve and try to make sure I'm worried. Worried about what? This has been done 1,000 times and it's been left with paperwork against mine, paperwork against Brent Council, paperwork. What the fuck am I worried about? Nothing. I'm just angry at the level of arrogance during that meeting. How the fuck are you going to police me on how I express myself when you say that I should leave? If I want to laugh, I'm going to fucking laugh. What does that have to do with you? You sit there and lie. That's your job. Or stand there and lie. That's your job. Not mine. I don't have to fucking lie. You do. And so do my neighbors. Like I said, I'm a targeted individual. I am not obligated to lie. I'm not obligated to do that. Just the arrogance is crazy. How do you fucking come over and try to call my fucking bluff? It's like gangstalkers don't learn. It's like they don't learn. So to recap, because I was all over the place with this. To recap, both of the letting agents of the letting agency came over. It was 2 people rather than 1, so that was a shakedown. I was under the impression that the senior letting agent was going to come on her own. She didn't. So that was an intimidation tactic. The second thing is that when I told them about what harassment was going on, they acted like I was dumb and they acted like I was paranoid. Again, this is something that I'm used to, right? This is something that I'm used to. It's boring, but it's what I'm used to. So I told them about the scream singing. I told them about the insults and they said, oh, it's not actually illegal. Yes, it is. It's harassment. But let me continue. So I told them about what they were doing. I told them about the racial harassment and the, I told them about the racial harassment and the fat phobia, all that. I told them about that. So they said, oh, they're not doing anything illegal. Oh, they're not doing anything. And I think, oh, shut the fuck up. Okay. and then they told me, maybe we should talk to the council and have you moved. I laughed and said, all right. And after that, it was after I said, okay, all right, that they continued arguing with me, continued trying to find holes in what I was claiming. So she said, I'm trying to find a solution. Okay, you found one. Talk to the council. And then I started laughing, and she said, what's funny? And I'm like, I just laughed. I just continued laughing in her face. And then after that, they said, thank you. And then we argued for a bit more. I said the neighbors were gangstalkers. That's why they didn't want to talk about, I almost mentioned that cunt's name. That's why they didn't want to talk about the neighbors bothering me. Because there are neighbors around here that are gangstalkers themselves. So of course they're not going to talk. And I talked about the fact that gang stalking was real. I said, this is bigger than me and my neighbor. As much as my neighbors are irritants, they are weaponized irritants, meaning they're not fully in control of this. If they were, they'd get bored, they'd move on to something else, but they haven't. And they haven't because they can't. So I've made it clear that this is bigger than me and my neighbors. As much as I want to deck the adults in that family, as much as I want to fuck them up, it's not them. They're the weak link in the chain. If there's anything that I've learned about gang stalking, is that people like that are 10 a penny. They're very easy to find. They're very easy to find, and because of their low status, they're disposable. And in this particular case, they think their whiteness doesn't make them disposable, and they're wrong. You know what I mean? They're very easy to find. They're very easy to, as somebody like me, very, very easy to manipulate. So easy. Because everything that they do is whoring for attention, whoring for my attention. I can turn that in whichever way that I want to. Gang stalking is all about whoring for targeted individuals' attention. That's the whole point in making you a target. It is whoring for your attention. And then manipulating you once they got it. So I made it clear to my letting agents that this is bigger than my neighbors. And it is bigger than my neighbors. Like those people alone, they're the type of people that will get people killed. Just because they're scared. These cunts like this, they act like their fear is the point. Their fear is worthless. Worse than worthless. Their fear is destructive. Their fear doesn't do anyone any good. Do you understand what I mean? This is bigger than just some petty squabbling between neighbors. People like that get people killed. There are already other racists around here calling me the N-word. There was somebody running for parliament, not parliament, but like a local seat in Woodingdean that was part of a far-right organisation. Even just talking about what's going on between me and my neighbour alone is serious shit, and it's bigger than a feud. Let alone gang stalking, which is further facilitating white supremacy. So I said, this is bigger than me, and this is bigger than my neighbor. This is a community-wide problem escalating into a national one. And as you can see, now it's caused an international incident. We're looking at World War III because of everything that's been going on at home. It's a massive setup. It's engineered. I didn't say all that. But I said because of the gang stalking, it's bigger than anything that's going on between me and the neighbor. Even though I want to beat her ass. It's bigger than me and her. It's bigger than that. And then comes like the second letting agent, the younger one. And she tried to say, oh, nobody's gang stalking you. And let me tell you something. That sentence had to die in her fucking throat. Because she knew that wasn't going to work with me. She knew that wasn't going to work with me. That sentence had to die in her throat. She knew it wasn't going to get anywhere. Because we all knew the truth. So, with that, they said goodbye. And of course, they talked about how scary I am. All right. Like, it's a broken fucking record. Like, you know, weaponizing vulnerability and shit. It's a broken record. I ain't got time for it. Yeah. So after that, what I decided to do was, once again, I decided to, you know, to write this email to Brighton Council. And if you want to hear it, go back in the video and you'll hear the letter, the email that I sent. Basically means, you need to get me out of here before I do something. Before I do somebody something, or my neighbors do somebody something, you need to get me the fuck up out of here. Quickly. And not only did I send that to the council, I forwarded it to Kudos. I'm not supposed to mention their name, but I forwarded it to my lettings agency. I might get banned for this, but doesn't matter. Forwarded it to the lettings agency. I said, like, you know what my terms are. I've already told you. It's up to you what you do. The only thing that really bothers me is, what the fuck am I gonna do with all these books? What am I gonna do with all this? Look at this. You see, this is the thing. When you collect things and you don't think about it, now I'm having to sit here thinking, where am I going to put all this? This is a lot of shit. Like, I know it doesn't seem like a lot because it's a small flat and it's just like a few books here and there. But it's only when you move your stuff in and out that you realize how much you have. Wild. Do you know what I mean? That's the only thing that's bothering me. When they move me, where am I going to put all this shit? And the likelihood is that because of the way houses are built and homes are built, they will most likely move me somewhere smaller. So I have to think about that too. That, you know, because, you know, first I was in, you know, my dad's flat, and then moved out, went to a house. You know, the house was the coldest. You know, it was the biggest room in the house, but it was also the coldest. In order for the directed energy weapons to work, it has to be relatively chilly so that your heat signatures stand out. So that was in Willesden Green. Then in Cricklewood, I lived in that studio flat. Oh, I had a bathtub and everything. It was amazing. And I was able to, like, just go in the bath whenever I wanted. And I read Lord of the Rings. I read Lord of the Rings in the bath. Awesome. You haven't lived until you've had like a nice luxurious bubble bath with like candles everywhere and a nice book. Come on, man. That was a life, man. That was a life. It was just that, like, I had to deal with an absolutely psychotic gangstalker. Just psychotic. Just the most single white female shit you've ever heard of. Just an absolute psychotic bitch. And then on top of that, I had to deal with, it was 3 main gangstalkers breaking into my flat when I was gone and contaminating my things. So, as much as I liked that flat, you know, it wasn't great. It really wasn't great. Yeah. Cause you know what, like, I've been relatively fortunate when it comes to the places that I've been put in spite of the fact that I've been gang stalked and everything. It's not like I've been put in palaces or anything, but I've been relatively lucky in where I've been able to move to. Whilst I have to admit, I'm not worried. I have to admit that. I just don't know where I'm going to put all my shit. Because it's like, it's storage. Storage is expensive. I just don't know where I'm going to put all my shit. It's just a little bit. But anyway, let's see what the council say. Let's see what my landlords say. And yeah, we'll see what happens. You're gonna come in my fucking abode, come in where I rest my head, and you're gonna try to fucking bluff me. Delusional. Anyway, take care, peace and blessings. Bye bye, my darlings. Oh, hang on, my fellow TIs, let me know in the comments, how you guys are doing. As you know, I always want to hear from you. So yeah, that's it. Sorry. Peace and blessings. Take care. Bye bye, my darlings.